So firstly, welcome to you all to JANAPADA, which is a collaborative virtual folklore festival organized by the Asian Media and Cultural Studies Network, Deakin University, and Manipal Academy of Higher Education, India. I'm Dr. Vikrant Kishore, and along with Dr. Shubha H.S. from Manipal Academy of Higher Education, and Shreeraj Gudi, and our collaborator Raissa Torrico from FEDEC, Bolivia. I welcome you all formally. And before I start, I would like to recognize the various traditional lands where we are located and acknowledge the elders past, present, and emerging. I acknowledge the land, waterways, and airways of the Wurundjeri people and pay our respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island people. And on that note, I would firstly like to invite Melinda Gay Kennedy. She is an Australian and an Aboriginal leader here, and she has been working as a co-director for Mariul, Aboriginal Perspectives and Narratives. And she is also a heritage advisor and a current master's student at Deakin University. So we have a kind of a welcome to the country, which Melinda will do. So over to you, Melinda.
Thank you. Bunong Muluk Derek Melinda Kennedy, Warang Baranguk, Waraki, Delma, Nyaru, Warang Ja, Waraki, Warang, Kulanja. I pay my respects to Karangalabal, the creator, the wedge-tailed eagle, as we know as the Karangalabal Mura, meaning the creator spirit. The art and dance is a place of freedom and truth-telling and expression. My ancestors and people are one of the first artists in the world. We came together through dance and song in Bayer, a time of Karim Buramin, where we sung and danced. Our stories are set by the landscape. We do not separate ourselves from landscape. We see ourselves as a part of. I am welcoming you to Jilangan Warang country. I pay my respects to all First Nations people and all ancestors. I would like to acknowledge my ancestors, elders past, present, and may I lead our youth to prosper. Nyura Waran, Bengo King, King Kimbil, Wari Guranguli, Nalingayik, Benging, Kimba, Warangja, Beniti, Kanama, Ba, Dalama, Banganak, Nala, Nala, Laba, Gupnya, Dap, Mokbari. Welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Melinda, for this wonderful welcome to the country. And I'll ask Dr. Shubha to take over from here. Over to you, Shubha.
Namaste. What began as a brief plan in June earlier this year during our second lockdown to have students of both our schools as audience and show them one folk form from here and discuss about it. It has grown into this large international folk festival that we call MAHE Deakin JANAPADA, with representatives from over 10 countries on one platform today, just at the inaugural. Today, Vikrant, Shreeraj, and I, and all our collaborators are grateful to all of you as we gather here for JANAPADA, the celebration of folk forms. Folklore, the traditional, ritualistic, and cultural legacy of humankind, are important intangible heritage. UNESCO says that cultural heritage does not end with monuments and collection of objects. It also includes traditional or living expressions inherited from our ancestors and passed on to our descendants, such as oral traditions, performing arts, social practices, rituals, festive events, knowledge and practices concerning nature and the universe, or the knowledge and skills to produce these traditional crafts. Therefore, this virtual festival is our attempt at cultural preservation and exchange of cultures. We would like to take a moment to welcome the presence of the following people at this event. First and foremost, Mr. Raj Kumar, the Consul General of India, Melbourne was supposed to be here, but instead of him, we have Mr. Girish Singh Kawai, the Council for Commerce and Culture, who has joined us for this event. Thank you for coming, sir. We have with us Dr. H.S. Ballal, the Pro-Chancellor of Manipal Academy of Higher Education, who is an ardent fan of all performing arts. We have with us Dr. P. Venugopal, the Regional Director of Indian Council for Cultural Relations from Bengaluru. We have amongst us Dr. Kiran Acharya, who is an orthopedics doctor by profession, but also a big fan. I mean, he has a lot of fans. He owns a gallery, and he's a collector of vintage medical instruments, writing instruments, matchbox labels, rare books. He's a travel blogger and a photographer. We have with us Mr. Liaquat Ali, who is an artist by himself and also has a gallery, art gallery of his own. He also teaches art to students. We also have Sri Siddhappa Pujari, who is a performer of the folk form that we are going to present to you today, which is the Tiger dance. He's also a trainer now. We have my colleague, Shreeraj Gudi, who is the co-curator with us on this event.
Thanks, Shubha, and I'll introduce people from Deakin and our international invitees today. So from Deakin, representing today is Dr. Bonnie Yim, who's our Associate Dean, International and Engagement from the School of Education. And we have Professor Sean Redmond, who's the leader of Asian Media and Cultural Studies Network. In fact, it was Professor Sean's idea of kickstarting this particular collaboration. It is through his particular vision and his support that we have been able to come this far and organize this particular thing. So thank you, Sean. Melinda Kennedy, you all saw her for the Welcome to the Country. So thankful for her to do that. And as I said, she's a traditional owner of Wadawarang and co-director of Muriel. Our special guest today, who will be doing a special performance, and I'll be playing a video shortly after this, is La Famille LeBlanc from Canada. They are Acadian musical family. The LeBlanc family has been a musical family for at least 6 generations. Today, Robin, Rebecca LeBlanc, and their 3 daughters continue this Acadian tradition. And I've had the pleasure of seeing them, in the Ghana Festival in 2018, and it was really a pleasure to see them perform, the whole family. We have Dr. Nick Leonhardt today, and she is again a long-term collaborator and associate professor of theater studies and a joint president of SIBMAS, an editor of online journal of global theater histories from Munich University, Germany. And Dr. Nick will be doing the keynote on 11th December as well. So she is here to support us, and thanks, Nick, for this. Ms. Marinez Jacks, she has been one of my mentors, so no words can define my particular, feeling for Marinez, and she was my whole initiation in cultural thing through my parents, and they were Marinez friends at one point of time doing lots of folk festivals. So she is the coordinator of International Relations Association National Cultures du Monde, France, and her work, along with Jean Roche, who was the permanent representative of UNESCO for folklore festivals, has been path-breaking, and it is such a pleasure to invite her today amongst us. We also have Ms. Zahra Bakhtiari. She is the regional supervisor of International Dance Council, another kind of a very big partner of UNESCO, in fact, a part of UNESCO. So thank you, Zahra, for joining us. Eddie Madrill, another friend and such an amazing talent, a dancer, singer, teacher, playwright, and a filmmaker from USA. He joins us today, and he has been our poster boy for this event. Alla Makiva, she is the director of Zorenka, Russia, and their particular dance group is an amazing dance group with so many kind of cultural forms that they cover from Russia. I've seen them in action. I've made a short documentary on Zorenka dance group, and some really good friends from the dance group I've been able to make. So really, really pleasure working with them, and also to see Alla today with us. Paula Balbi, she is going to join a little late today because she has got some project going on, but she's the artistic director of International Storytelling Festivals of Rome. So we have got a variety of people here, not only working in culture, dance, music, but also part of storytelling, the folklore storytelling. Nicole McClam, again joining us from USA. She's an assistant professor at Queensborough Community College and founding member of B3W Performance USA. Thanks for joining us, Nicole. Dr. Adele Bollard, so a founder of Modern Tahtib, stick dance from Egypt, and his work is path-breaking. He has already written 3 books on stick dance and Modern Tahtib. His latest book is he's working and publishing his latest book on Modern Tahtib, another one, and path-breaking work what Adele has done. And I would like to, Adele will be sharing more of his ideas, not only today, but later on 4th of December. Juan Luis, he joins from the Basque Country. He's the artistic director and teacher of the dance company, Gero Axelar. Welcome, Juan. Raissa, who has been a kind of a collaborator with us. She's the international relations manager of FIDIC Bolivia. So, and Raissa has been very supportive and has brought in lots of kind of enthusiasm to this project. And Miss Irma Cardona, she's the artistic director of Ive Danza from Italy, and she will be also joining a little late today. So that's all from all our participants today. What we'll be doing is that I will just be screening a kind of a short video. And this is a video that the Association National Cultures du Monde under Rafael Villas-Mizar and Luc Roche and Marines have created these videos on talking about the importance of intangible cultural heritage. And this in a way reflect what we are doing in this festival. So without saying much, I will just show this video and you'll get an idea as to what our aim is with through this particular festival.
Le patrimoine immatériel, c'est un élément de la culture, mais c'est un patrimoine vivant. Le patrimoine immatériel, c'est un élément de la culture qui est décidé par ceux qui y participent. C'est-à-dire que contrairement, on va dire, au patrimoine mondial, ce n'est pas les experts qui décident de la richesse universelle d'un bien, mais c'est un patrimoine vivant. Pour qu'il soit parfaitement vivant, il faut qu'il soit transmis. On pourrait dire que ce sont des contes, ce sont des jeux, ce sont toutes sortes de représentations, ce sont les langues, ce sont les expressions orales, c'est la musique, c'est les savoir-faire et c'est un certain nombre de connaissances qui nous sont propres à l'humanité et qui contribuent à la créativité et à la diversité culturelle de cette même humanité. On dira que c'est cette dimension vivante. C'est aussi une sorte de résistance qui est proposée face à une globalisation du monde. Ce patrimoine, il est vivant parce que les communautés l'ont décidé, ils se l'approprient, ça crée un sentiment d'identité fort. Et puis surtout, il y a une profondeur historique, c'est ancré dans la tradition, mais c'est surtout recréé en permanence.
So firstly, a big thanks to ANCM for sharing this video, and it wonderfully captured the ethos and the kind of plan that we had for this webinar about safeguarding and protecting of cultural heritage, and also sharing of our shared cultural heritages as well. And before I go on to the next segment, I would also want to welcome Dr. Padma Rani, who joins us from Manipal Academy of Higher Education, and she's the director of Manipal Institute of Communication. So welcome, Padma, and it's really good to have you. And I know that it is also through your support. So along with Sean, it was your support that this particular event has come into actions. So thank you so much, and we look forward to your continued support. Next, I would like to invite our the Consul General of India in Melbourne. He was supposed to join, but due to some commitments, he could not. So I would like to invite our Mr. Consul here, Mr. Girish Singh Kavya, who's the Consul Commerce and Culture. And over to you, Mr. Girish.
Thank you, Dr. Vikrant. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends, good evening, bonjour, guten morgen, dobre utro, namaskar. I begin with acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land where I speak from and pay my respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. I also acknowledge all the dignitaries present at this event. I'm honored to be invited to deliver this opening address on behalf of my Consul General at this very special event, JANAPADA, a virtual international folklore festival organized by Deakin University and Manipal Academy of Higher Education, who came out with this good idea of showcasing folk expressions and intangible cultural heritage films. The films are from Karnataka state of India, as well as from various other countries from the globe. The two universities have worked hard to pull together resources across countries to make this important cultural activity take shape and happen. The event has been commendably supported by several organizations, as has been mentioned in the welcome address by Dr. Vikrant Kishore and Dr. Shubha. Culture is at the heart of ethos of any community, which gives it a way of life. It evolves very gradually and is a product of centuries-old history. A culture of region is shaped by the environment around it, and therefore we witness the myriad diversity in terms of folklore from region to region, nation to nation. I'm happy that through this event, we'll get to see some great films on the diversity. Compared to the tangible aspects of culture, the intangibles need a human medium for its propagation. The art involved in it needs to be handed over from generation to generation. There is where cultural, educational, governmental, etc. institutions need to continue giving support in perseverance and propagation of cultures. This event comes around a very special year for India when it is celebrating its 75th year of independence, under which a number of celebratory programs are being organized around the theme Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Through this Mahotsav, India is showcasing its progress through these 75 years and also its heritage. Consulate General of India, Melbourne, is ever ready to extend its utmost support in promotion of culture. I extend my best wishes for the success of this event. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, Mr. Girish. It was a pleasure and to get your support. And you have very well outlined what our thought was behind this particular festival. So, and we want your continued support for festival. I would like to invite, and these are the family LeBlanc. And can I ask Robin and Rebecca LeBlanc to share a few words, and then we'll showcase a video that they have specially made for this particular occasion. Over to you, Robin.
Bonjour. C'est très tôt ici. It's very early here. We're happy to be talking to you from unceded lands of the Mi'kmaq Nation here in New Brunswick, Canada, on the east coast of Canada. So we are here in a kitchen. The reason why I say this is because most of the music that the Acadians play are in kitchens. And I'd like to mention that the reason for this is because of the situation where we live. We're all along the coast because of the fishing and because of the relation to the ocean and to the sea. Houses are very far from one another. So events are usually held in houses. And traditionally we play in the kitchen because it sounds good. The sound is best because the sound resounds, where in a living room, where with a sofa or anything, the sound kind of goes into, and it doesn't sound as well. And this is not the night that we stayed up all night, but usually we do this about 3 times a year. we still play music at this time. We see the sun come up, and we do this about around Christmas time, sometimes in the summer, and usually we do it a third time during the year when we meet with friends. So being up at 4 o'clock is not unusual for us.
So we call this a kitchen party, right?
Yes.
So Acadian kitchen party.
Yes, we call it the kitchen party tradition. And this is where a lot of traditions are passed on. And this is where sometimes kids are asleep and hear the music and eventually come into this tradition as young adults.
Great. Thanks, Robin. And I'll share your video now. So there you go.
J'en ai une, j'avais des couteaux, des fourchettes et des cuillères. À présent j'en ai une qui me fait enrager, qui me fait enrager, qui me fait enrager. That was wonderful. Thanks, Robin and Becca. If you'd like to share, what the context of this dance was, and of course, this is Acadian traditional dance, but anything else you would like to add about this? Just unmute yourself.
Well, we decided to do this video to represent different aspects of the music that we make. So we started with song. The songs that we sing most of them are from France, and we can date them back from most of them from the 18th century. Some songs are from the 17th century, and we also have songs that are earlier than that, that have been transmitted, and they're still being sung by some of the oldest people in our region. So I myself try to go meet these people, and they don't just sing to us like this. We need to get to know them, because they're a bit shy to sing these songs. They're not heard on the radio or represented elsewhere, so I think they don't have value. And so sometimes it takes a bit of time before people open up and sing these songs. But the melodies to me are beautiful. They're very different, and the words are relevant to things that have been lived in the past. Next thing we did is playing with the knitting sticks. So my wife was playing with knitting sticks on the fiddle, and that represents a tradition that a blind man, he was 90 years old when I met, And I asked him the question, what was the music like when you were very young? Some of the oldest fiddlers you saw when you were younger, how would they play? And so he mentioned that the fiddle was tuned differently. So my violin, which we call a fiddle, was tuned differently. So A, E, A, E. And so we can play with the knitting sticks on the bigger strings, and I can play on the smallest strings, which are tuned in the same way, in the same pattern. So this was done back then because instruments were rare, and it was common to see two people play on the same instrument. So that represented the first part, and then my eldest daughter started playing with me. So playing two fiddles is also a bit more common, but usually here you would only see one musician play by himself. No, not two musicians. And we would tap our feet so the people could dance. So this is a dance tradition where people make rounds, or eventually it'll be square dances that will come. The tradition here is the old dances. We know that they have been forgotten. All we know is doctors from the USA, from America, would come up and describe that the end of the 19th century, Acadians didn't dance like they used to, but they don't describe the dances. So there's something to be looked after to see maybe what kind of dances they were. We think they were rounds, and maybe, yes. So we're not too sure. So we tap our feet so people can hear the music, because the fiddle is very often just for show in the older music, because you wouldn't hear it as much with a lot of people in a kitchen. So that's why we tap our feet to 3 or 4 beats. And then we have a more modern instruments, which is the concertina, which are instruments that come into the traditions as it goes, and also the whistle with my third girl. And then they do what's called danse assise, which the story goes that because the priests would go around in the village to make sure people didn't dance all the time, people would sit down, and from the window, walking outside the house, it wouldn't look that priests thought people were not dancing. So people were just doing it under the table and playing with their feet and passing down traditions.
That's great, Robin. Such a fantastic kind of explanation you have given, and a kind of a context to that. And you are again with us on 4th of December talking about your cultural perspective. So I would definitely ask others to join in on 4th of December, where we'll focus on South America and North America specifically. And we'll talk to Robin and Rebecca and the family at that point of time. So, and over to you, Shubha.
That was a fantastic start. Now we come to the part where I deem it my privilege to briefly introduce the Pro-Chancellor of Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Dr. H.S. Ballal. The much decorated and respected career of Dr. Ballal began as a lecturer in radiology, and after decades of teaching and holding many administrative positions, he is now the Pro-Chancellor. He is a keen sportsman and an ardent fan of folk forms. He has sent us a video message. Here we go.
My dear friends, I am happy to participate in MAHE Deakin JANAPADA, a virtual celebration of folk expressions and intangible cultural heritage films organized by Asian Media and Cultural Network, Deakin University and Manipal Institute of Communication, MAHE. India has often been recognized as a country of unique and distinct culture, with many languages, religions, music, dance, foods, architecture, which differ from state to state. The Indian culture is an amalgamation of several cultures. The term Janapada, often used in South Indian languages, refers to folklore, a rich aspect of any culture. This virtual folklore festival is our attempt to celebrate, educate, investigate, and create an awareness regarding the processes of cultural preservation and cultural change. An international festival of this nature is one of the best means to safeguard, promote, and also diffuse the intangible cultural heritage. The cultural expressions through music, dance and performance contribute significantly to the enhancement of Karnataka's cultural identity and diversity, and such a virtual folklore festival provides appropriate platform for the same. This event gives an opportunity for exchange of ideas, for learning from other experiences, and for international cooperation between the two partnering universities from India and Australia. This virtual event will facilitate in the digital space, showcasing a curated collective. MAHE Deakin JANAPADA comprises of two parts. First, a virtual folk festival spread over 4 weekends on Saturdays beginning from 27th of November 2021 till 18th December 2021. We will have second Intangible Cultural Heritage Film Festival in January 2022. Filmmakers have been invited to submit films that explore any aspect of the intangible cultural heritage. It is proposed to conduct in-person screening of the award-winning films at Manipal and Bangalore at a convenient date, which will be announced soon. I would like to congratulate Manipal Institute of Communication, headed by Dr. Padma Rani and her team, in particular Dr. Shubha H.S, Mr. Shreeraj Gudi and Dr. Vikrant Kishore from Deakin University for organizing this event. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
That was great. And now I would like to invite Professor Sean Redmond. And Professor Sean Redmond, as I introduced him earlier, who's the person who got this collaboration started and who's the leader of Asian Media and Cultural Studies Network at Deakin University. So Sean, over to you to share your thoughts.
The job of feet is walking, but their hobby is dancing. Amity Kalasi. To dance is to be out of yourself, larger, more beautiful, more powerful. This is power. It is glory on earth, and it is yours for the taking. Agnes de Mille. Dance is the timeless interpretation of life. Jahiz Rizzi. I could take the Harlem night and wrap around you. Take the neon lights and make a crown. Take the Lenox Avenue buses, taxis, subways, and for your love song, tone their rumble down. Take Harlem's heartbeat, make a drum beat, put it on a record, let it whirl. And while we listen to it play, dance with you till day, dance with you, my sweet brown Harlem girl. Langston Hughes. One of the most things I love and adore is dance. I come from an Irish immigrant family, and the stories that they would tell in the kitchen would be dance stories, the folklore of movement, the rhythm and rhyme of the hand, the soft gesture. It's with immense pleasure that I'm able to open tonight. And I must please say a heartfelt thanks to Vikrant for the amazing work he's done over the last 3-4 months in the most difficult circumstances in lockdown Melbourne. It's a beautifully organized, rich event, and I'm proud of Vikrant for all this amazing work. I'm but a small, very small punctuation point in Vikrant's beautiful, extended, gossamer-like sentence. So it's a heartfelt thanks, Vikrant. And thank you for letting me open tonight. And I wish everybody the best, and I can't wait to hear the discussions that will follow. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Sean, for that. It's a pleasure to be able to work under your leadership and get this thing to a place where you are proud of. So over to Shubha now.
Yes. The momentum for this event garnered strength when Dr. Venugopal, the Regional Director of ICCR, the Indian Council for Cultural Relations, Bengaluru, liked the initiative and supported this endeavor. Dr. Venugopal I request you to say a few words. Today, in focus, we have the traditional Huli Vesha, what we call the tiger dance from Udupi district of Karnataka in India. There has been little documentation and little academic study on this particular folk performance that is closely related to religion, to nature, and to culture of the region. Before I hand over the mic, and I would like to briefly introduce the people associated with this session. Dr. Kiran Acharya, like I mentioned earlier, is an orthopedic doctor by profession, but his interest in art and culture has got him a large fan base nationally and internationally. We also have with us Mr. Liaquat Ali, who is an artist and has been involved in the technical aspects of body painting and creating props for the tiger dance since his childhood. We have with us Sri Shivappa Pujari, who is a performer and trainer of this folk form. We are overwhelmed by your preparation and participation for this event. Over to you, Dr. Kiran Acharya.
Thank you very much. Thanks also to keep me away from my world of orthopedics and sports injuries, at least for one weekend afternoon. I will start my presentation straight away, and I'm joined by Mr. Liaquat Ali, and Shivappa has given his interview, and we would share his interview during the program. I thank MAHE, Deakin University, and all those who are involved in this for making this happen. And as I mentioned earlier, this also gave me an opportunity to do a little research on one of my childhood favorite dances, that's a tiger dance. Before we actually start with the presentation, I apologize for if there is any delay in the lag in the videos. We will try to sort it out soon. As you saw, it is a quite vigorous dancing of the tigers. In Tulu, it is known as Pili Esa. In Kannada, it's known as Huli Vesha. And in English, it's simply tiger dance. But if you translate, Huli Vesha means a tiger costume. It's basically, it's a form of nature worship and also tradition, folklore, and a lot of stories associated with the tiger, entertainment, music, especially the percussion instruments, and then its entry now into the popular culture. And for anyone who listens to the beats of the Huli Vesha, if his feet start moving, we know that he's from the coastal Karnataka. We in Udupi are situated between the Arabian Sea and the Western Ghats, surrounded by forests, and it's on the southern part of India. So most of our ancestors were farmers. They were into farming, and they, I'm sure, would have encountered a lot of tigers in their life. So they used to pray to the local gods and deities, Pili Chandi and Pili Chamundi. These are the two bronzes from the past. And Pili Chamundi incidentally had a tiger as a vehicle. And it was a belief that if you worship the tiger, the crops will not be damaged by the wild animals. And if you worship the tiger in any form, there would not be any deaths due to tiger attacks. So it was like a peaceful coexistence by means of prayer. And this started much before the gods and goddesses came into the picture of religion. So this is much before. The earliest British documentation of a tiger dance is from this lithograph from 1869, where during a festival of Moharram, people dressed up as tigers were found to be dancing for an audience. In coastal Karnataka, Udupi, the Krishna Janmashtami, the celebrations revolving around Krishna's birth, and in Mangalore, Navratri festival, and in entire coastal Karnataka during the immersion of the Ganesha the god who removes obstacles. These are the three occasions where the tiger dance is extensively performed by enthusiasts. We believe that these festivals in this region are a great societal, they lead to societal distribution of wealth, because during this time people tend to spend and the money comes into all parts of the society. Udupi being the hometown of Lord Krishna, it's known for celebrations, community participation, like this huge chariot is just pulled with the help of people and devotees, very rarely assisted by an elephant from the temple, but we don't have that elephant anymore. So we are known for celebrating every possible occasion with celebrations happening in the temple square. And this is a scene from 2019 Krishna celebrations, Krishna Janmashtami celebrations, and you can see the tigers in the forefront leading the procession, and the chariot is made of gold. So Vittal Pindi is the time when entire community comes together, celebrates, and you can see that the award-winning tiger happily displaying the currency notes he has garnered because of his performance. Vittal Pindi is traditionally a celebration by the Gollas or the cowherds, and they usually break the pots filled with curd during this celebration. According to Shivappa, who is a ringmaster and a guru for most of the tigers in this region, he feels that we need to preserve the traditional tiger dance in its original form, because he feels that that is the way it was taught by forefathers. And what is a traditional tiger? This is an anatomy of a traditional Udupi tiger, which has a leather headgear, and then face and body are painted realistically, just like a real tiger. And then there is a black collar around the neck. Then there is one jatti, which is a waistband. It's almost like a lumbosacral corset to prevent the backache for the artists. There's also a groin support to enable them to do the vigorous dance moves. And they have no footwear during the performance. So this is the traditional appearance of a Udupi tiger. More about the painting of this tiger, I invite Mr. Liaquat Ali, who would speak in Kannada, but we would run the photos so that it makes an understanding. If you do not understand any part, we will clarify. We'll be happy to clarify during the discussion. Mr. Liaquat, can you please?
I am audible?
Yes, you are audible. Please go ahead.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ. ಸುಮಾರು 55 ವರ್ಷದ ಹಿಂದೆ ನನ್ನ ತಂದೆ ಹುಲಿವೇಷದ ಬಣ್ಣ ಹಾಕುತ್ತಿದ್ದರು. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸಹಾಯವಾಗಿ ನಾನು 12 ವರ್ಷ ಪ್ರಾಯವಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಆ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹುಲಿವೇಷದ ಬಣ್ಣ ಮೊದಲು ಸ್ವಂತ ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡುತ್ತಿದ್ದರು. ಅದು ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಕಲರ್ ಹುಡಿ ಮತ್ತು ರೆಡ್ ಕಲರ್ ಹುಡಿಯನ್ನು ಮಿಶ್ರಣ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಣ್ಣದಾದ ಕಡಿಯುವ ಕಲ್ಲು ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸಿದ್ದರು. ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಲಿನ್ಸಿಡ್ ಆಯಿಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ಟರ್ಪಂಟೈನ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆರೆಂಜ್ ತರದ ಕಲರ್ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಅರ್ಧಲ್ ಎಂದು ಕರೀತಿದ್ದರು. ಹಾಗೆ ಬಿಳಿ ಕಲರ್ ಕೂಡ ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡುತ್ತಿದ್ದರು. ಇದನ್ನು ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ದೇಹಕ್ಕೆ ಬ್ರಷ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಹಾಕುತ್ತಿದ್ದರು. ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಜೆರಿ ಗ್ಲಿಟರ್ ಅನ್ನು ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದರು. ನಂತರ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕೆಂಪು ಕಲರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬಳ್ಳಿ ಹೂಗಳನ್ನು ಮತ್ತು ಬರೆ ಚಿಟ್ಟೆ ಮುಂತಾದ ಚಿತ್ರಗಳನ್ನು ಬಿಡಿಸಿದರು. ಹಾಗೆ ತಲೆಗೆ ಟೊಪ್ಪಿ ಮತ್ತು ಟೊಪ್ಪಿ 2 ಕಿವಿಗಳ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಗೊಂಡೆಗಳನ್ನು ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಿದ್ದರು. ಕಣ್ಣುಗಳಿಗೆ ಕಾಡಿಗೆ ಹಾಕುತ್ತಿದ್ದರು. ಈ ತರದ ಹುಲಿವೇಷ ಈಗ ನೋಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಸಿಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಂತರದ ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಎನಾಮೆಲ್ ಪೇಂಟ್ ಗಳನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹುಲಿವೇಷದ ಬಣ್ಣ ಹಾಕುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಲಿಗಳ 4 ವಿಧವಾಗಿ ಕಲರ್ ಹಾಕುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಒಂದು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಹುಲಿ ಆರೆಂಜ್ ಮತ್ತು ವೈಟ್, 2 ಬಿಳಿ ಹುಲಿ ವೈಟ್ ಟೈಗರ್, 3ನೇದಾಗಿ ಚಿಟ್ಟೆ ಹುಲಿ ಚೀತಾ, 4 ಕಪ್ಪು ಹುಲಿ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟೈಗರ್. ಈ ಹುಲಿಗಳನ್ನು ಕಲರ್ ಹಾಕೋ ವಿಧಾನ ತಿಳಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಇದನ್ನು ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಕಲರ್ ಮತ್ತು ರೆಡ್ ಕಲರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸಾಫ್ರನ್ ಕಲರ್ ವಾಗಿ ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ದೇಹಕ್ಕೆ ಬಳಸಿ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕುರಿಯ ರೋಮ ಫರ್ ಅನ್ನು ಜರಡಿ ಮೂಲಕ ಹಾಕುತ್ತಾರೆ. ವೈಟ್ ಟೈಗರ್ಗೆ ಇಡೀ ದೇಹಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಳಿ ಕಲರ್ ಹಾಕುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಕಪ್ಪು ಹುಲಿಗೆ 50% ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಕಲರ್ ಅನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆಗಳನ್ನು ಬಿಡಿಸುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಈ ಹುಲಿಗಳಿಗೆ ರೋಮ ಫರ್ ಹಾಕಿದ ನಂತರ ವಿವಿಧ ಹುಲಿಗಳ ಕಲರ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಕಂಪ್ರೆಸರ್ ನಿಂದ ಕಲರ್ ಅನ್ನು ಸ್ಪ್ರೇ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾರೆ. ನಂತರ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಹುಲಿಗೆ ಬರೆ ಟೈಗರ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಪ್, ಚಿಟ್ಟೆ ಹುಲಿಗೆ ಚಿತಾ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಸ್ಪ್ರೇ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ತಲೆಗೆ ಟೊಪ್ಪಿ ಧರಿಸುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಕೊನೆಯದಾಗಿ ಮುಖದ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಜವಾದ ಟೈಗರ್ ರೂಪವನ್ನು ಮುಖದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಡಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಕುತ್ತಿಗೆ ಪಟ್ಟೆ ಕಟ್ಟಿ ಸೊಂಟಕ್ಕೆ ಜಟ್ಟಿ ಬಿಗಿದು ನಂತರ ಹುಲಿಗಳನ್ನು ಕುಣಿಯಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ತಯಾರಾಗುತ್ತಾರೆ.
So these are the various techniques with which it started with the hand ground paints with natural substances like linseed oil, progressed on to enamel paints, and then finally compressor and airbrush for painting. But the majority of the techniques and coloring have remained the same. And with this, once the coloring is done, we should remember that this coloring process takes about 6 hours for each person. So they do it in batches. And once the coloring is done, they have few rituals to be followed. According to Shivappa, even before the coloring is done, blessings are taken from the parents. And usually these tigers are those who have made a vow during someone's illness at family, or even for a cow. If the cow falls sick, they say, I will don a tiger dance costume next season. So it's a fulfilling of a vow. And then they do the first dance around the frankincense. Then they would go to the village deity, perform offerings in the form of a coconut, breaking of a coconut. And then they go to the village temple and perform. And then they go in the procession in the streets of the town. And this is the first performance. So once they do the dance around the frankincense, take blessing from parents, they proceed to the street and participate in the temple celebrations. And then they would go from house to house performing tiger dance. And if the landlord of the place is happy, he would offer them with some money so that they get more enthusiasm to go next door. One of the characters in the team of tigers is a hunter. Probably he's the only hunter in the world who has not killed a single tiger in his life. Because in tiger dance, traditionally, no tiger gets killed. In fact, they make fun of the hunter during the course of the dance. And whenever the team collects money from the people who appreciate the art, the hunter has to be tipped separately for not killing the tigers. And according to Shivappa, there are 4 traditional beats. Those who are interested in the music and percussion instrument, there are 4 different beats in Hulivesha. One is Savari Pettu. This is basically for the marching. And then there are 2 beats, 3 beats, and 6 beats being the fastest. I have a short audio clip which I will run in the next slide. And we will run it for a minute so that we know the change of tempo of the percussion instruments. And this is a traditional pattern. Change is constant. So we now have tigers which come with the props. They come with the entire tree with them. We have fire-breathing tigers. So we also have a neon painted tigers performing all kinds of acrobatics. This is a little deviation from the tradition, but change is constant. According to Shivappa, he has made a record in 2018 by getting girls and women into the domain of Hulivesha, where he trained 24 tigresses into the domain of Hulivesha. And their first performance was during a procession, and it was well received by the audience of Udupi. And then 24 girls did the Hulivesha just for raising funds for a trust. And that was very handy because the same girls team which raised funds during 2018 donated the entire proceedings for doing the midday meal program for migrant laborers in Udupi during a COVID lockdown. It was well documented. And this is a team of the girls. The smallest tigress, which is in the background, is just 8-year-old. These are a few variations in painting. This is a Mangalore or Kerala style of painting where the face of the tiger or lion is painted on the belly of the actor or the dancer. And I am the team physician for the last team. You could have seen the ankle binders, and most of them were injured in the last season's performance. So I am the team physician for them. And they also performed during our orthopedic conference during 2013. They are into lifting of a heavy rice sack. We call it akimudi. The rice is packed in a hay bundle. It's about 32 kgs each of these. and it's lifted with the tooth of the tiger, and he flips it backwards, and some of them even do back flipping of another small tiger. Fire breathing tigers we have already seen. These are all attractions of the day. So competitions held in temples and by a few associations, entry of youngsters into the field of tiger dance and catching them young with the tiger costumes has kept the tradition of tiger dance alive in coastal Karnataka, especially the support by the temples and the rural Bhutasthanas and youth associations have kept this art alive over years. And we need to document these art forms and their true form before it is forgotten by artists like Shivappa and Liaquat Ali. And we need to have the cooperation of the local artists in this regard. And we hope to do this documentation during the next Astami. And we will do an extensive documentation video, photo documentation, as well as we will do the interview of all the artists involved. And we need to balance between traditions and the newer advances, as I would call it, in tiger dance, and keep the move forward. This is a photograph of Manipal in 1960s. And why I am showing this picture is this particular circle is known as Tiger Circle. Tigers were roaming around in this town, which is now evolved into a university town. And the Tiger Circle is reduced to a small police lookout here. And I have a small anecdote here. My father studied in Manipal in 1956. One of his leave letters for the dean said he's unable to attend a class because there is a tiger sleeping on the road leading to the college. And leave was granted. So Manipal believes in continuing this tradition of tigers, at least for the memory of this Tiger Circle. And we would like to document with the help of Manipal Institute of Communications. And we would take inputs from all the experts in today's panel as to how we go about doing it. I thank you all for your attention and eager to listen to the questions.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Kiran Acharya. That was fantastic. I'll just stop sharing this. Amazing dance form, and I was very curious to know more about it. And you explained everything quite in detail as well. That is quite impressive kind of a presentation that you made. We'll take the Q&A at the end of this particular event. That will be good because we've got quite a few people here to talk and give a presentation. So I would like to now move on to invite Dr. Venu Gopal from Indian Council of Cultural Relations, if he can turn on his camera and just share his thoughts. Dr. Venu Gopal, can you hear us? All right, so I think Mr. Venu Gopal is still unable to make it online. So I'll now move on to, I would like to invite Dr. Bonnie Yim, our Associate Dean, International and Engagement, School of Education, to share a few words. And yeah, here you go, Bonnie. What do you think of this event and your perspective, please?
Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, and good day to my colleagues and students at Deakin University in Australia, Manipal Academy of Higher Education in India, and to our honorable guests, partners, and all the artists and researchers in Australia and in different parts of the world. I wish to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which our Deakin University campuses locate. I also pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. On behalf of the Faculty of Arts and Education at Deakin University, I would like to thank all of you to be part of this important festival. I would also like to thank those who organize and arrange for this wonderful event. I wish all of you and your family safe and healthy during this ever-changing time as well. When I received the invitation from my colleagues, Dr. Vikrant Kishore and also Professor Sean Redmond of the Asian Media and Cultural Network, I was really impressed by the list of global guests and talents from more than 10 countries. I'm also particularly impressed by all of your commitments, vision, and courage to host a cultural and artistic event through a virtual platform. I am a musician. I know how challenging it is. Well done to all of you. At Deakin University, we value diversity, inclusion, and creativity. We also love generating ideas that enhance social, cultural, economic, and environmental well-being. Today's event is a good example to showcase Deakin colleagues' works and collaboration with local and international partners, particularly with Manipal Academy of Higher Education in India. Today's event also highlights our commitments to intangible culture as a community. Dr. Kiran Akaja and also Mr. Liyaka and Ali have just shared the context and uniqueness of the Tiger dance. I'm really impressed by the rich culture and artistic elements. Next year, year 2022, it will also be the year of Tiger in some Asia Pacific countries. The year of Tiger symbolizes willpower, courage, strength, and braveness. These are also my wishes to all of you. Finally, I would like to thank all the artists, researchers, and organizers again for your amazing efforts and time. And I wish all of us will continue to embrace and celebrate our wide range of practices, representations, knowledge, and skills. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Vikrant.
Thanks a lot, Bonnie, for sharing your thoughts and for your support for this event and these kind of partnerships which you are leading across the world. And this is one of the fantastic kind of partnership which we have generated, and not doing a film festival, but doing a kind of a folklore plus film festival. So that has been really good. We'll move on to our international guests, and we have got quite a few guests who have joined us today, and they have been patiently waiting. But of course, the event has been very interesting, and we have heard some really, really good presentations. So what we have done is that we have tried to get people from all across the world, and they have, agreed to come and support this in whatever time zone they are. And the first person I would like to invite, and who I've already introduced, is Dr. Nick Leonhardt. She is an associate professor, and she has been doing lots of work in theater and performing arts, and she's from Munich University, Germany. Over to you, Nick.
Thank you very much, Vikrant, for organizing this wonderful event. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Well, it's a pleasure, and I'm very honored to be here today. I still remember very vividly when I attended for the first time the Ghana Festival, and it was no one else but Vikrant and Etienne, of course, Etienne Rogier, to organize the very first conference that accompanied the festival. And I had the privilege to be there. And I wrote it in the chat. It was fascinating, a fascinating event for me. And it's so nice to me, and I'm very moved at the moment to see so many familiar faces again. So I'm very excited to be here and to be part of that first virtual festival. And I think the 2019 festival was the last festival I visited before the lockdowns, before the pandemic. So, and this one is the very first virtual folklore festival that I ever attend. So, and I was thinking when preparing for this little session today that festivals, well, by definition, they refer to a specific time and to a specific location. So location matters. And a virtual festival doesn't care about time, it doesn't care about location. So we need to come up with a redefinition of what a festival is. And it seems to me that this festival that Vikrant and his team organized might be a first example or a model of how we could redefine what a festival is. And we will see how that works. Until now, it works perfectly. And it's so much fun to watch all the wonderful videos and to be part of this and to witness what other people and what other representatives of different cultures present and have to tell here. So you mentioned already that it's all about storytelling as well. And it's, I'm a historian by training, a theater and cultural historian. So I always try to look back from the future and what the speaker before me, well, quoting Heraclite, of course, said that the change is a constant. So I'm thinking maybe of making that a topic for my keynote on the 11th, that change is a constant. And we are changing and culture is changing, and that's part of culture. And at the same time, we need to preserve and to mediate and to present culture to different cultures in the world. So these are thoughts that I'm thinking through while listening and watching this very first inaugural event today. It's to me such a, it's a pleasure to be here. I feel honored. I mentioned that already, but I'm also so surprised and full of admiration to Vikrant and his fellow colleagues that when I learned this morning that the idea for this festival came up in June and now it's November and we are all here. It's an international family of researchers and practitioners and well, in cultural mediators. And I don't know how you manage that, because I also know that you got a child again in summer. So I'm full of admiration and congratulations to, on what you guys have done so far. It's fascinating. I have a few more things to say, but I don't want to steal everyone's time this morning because I'm giving time again on the 11th. And again, it's a moving moment for me to have been part of the very first conference to a festival and now becoming part of the first virtual folklore festival. When I think of Ghana, I have the most beautiful memories. I really enjoyed being there. But we all went through very difficult times and situations over the last 24 months. And we deserve some more fun and need to continue exchanging about our knowledge and our experiences about culture. So thank you again and welcome. And yes, I look forward to continuing the next festival parts.
Great, thank you, Nick. And we certainly look forward to hearing you on 11th of December. And I'll be sharing all the details soon with all the participants and our audience as well. So the next person I would like to invite now is Ms. Marinez Jacques, the coordinator and international relations person for Association Nationale Cultures du Monde, France. She has been a part of Ghana Festival, which has been one of the world's longest running folklore festivals, now I think almost in its 47th or 48th year. And Marinez has been, as I said earlier, she has been a mentor for me as well. And her particular vision of safeguarding the traditional art forms has been tremendous. And not only in France, but I've seen how their work has helped Chow Dance of India, which I have been practicing and working for. So Marinez, can I request you to say a few words?
Okay, so hello to all and thank you for inviting Vikrant. It's quite moving, as Nick was saying just now, because I really can feel that it's a great family, and I can recognize so many around not around the table, but around the world now, who came to Ghana Festival. So thank you for inviting and good luck for this program. So yes, let me introduce you an amazing experience from heart from France, well, from Auvergne area. And at the beginning, in fact, Jean Roche created a folk dance and music group to promote and safeguard local traditions. And from local area to the world, it's just one step. Well, a large one, but a step who was also thanks to the Ghana Festival, created in '74. And this festival has made a reputation as one of the few festivals open-minded to world events. It's about 300 artists coming from all continents express themselves during 12 days and nights through music, dance, tales, crafts, cooking, games, and beyond the stage, interaction with the audience has an important place. Dance workshop, meals, cabaret, reception in villages, and other spontaneous means give to the festival an authentic, permanent, festive character. This is due to an organization based on a great number of volunteers working for the festival. Warmth and depth of relationship are enhanced by a full-time communication atmosphere. The artists are ambassadors of their culture, of their region, of their country, but they are chosen also as witness of their living culture. Then, quite beyond the convention of ICCR UNESCO in 2003, Ghana Festival was already an opportunity to promote and share cultures to the audience. And then the audience was more aware about the fragility of these cultures and about the urgent need to protect them. For instance, we had some communities from Brazil, like the Chavante, Equator Shuar, the Papua from Indonesia, the Yakut from Russia, the Gong from Highland in Vietnam, and also some about ICCR. We had culture like show dance from India, the Carnival of Recife in Brazil, Tartib from Asia, n'est-ce pas, Adèle? Oruro Carnival from Bolivia, n'est-ce pas, Raissa? Tershova music from Slovakia, Festnos, of course, tradition from Brittany in France. So many kind of element of the ICCR culture. So as a non-governmental organization partner of UNESCO, we launched the program ICCR, What Is It? And as you could show already, the first video that prepared, because it's Raphaël Villamizar and all the team with Etienne, who is part of this festival. We launch this program once a month. And of course, if you want to help us to promote this program, please look and share this link from our website, from our Facebook page, because it's quite hard also to make our cultural authorities aware of what it is important to promote this program. So thank you to all, and love to all the friends and future friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Marinez. And we now move on to our next guest, is Ms. Zahra Bakhtiari. She is a regional supervisor for the International Dance Council, which is also a part of UNESCO. So, and Zahra Bakhtiari, I'll be sharing the website of International Dance Council. She has especially asked that I share the website. So, and I've shared Ghana Festival site as well. So do go through the Ghana Festival site and the CID website. Zahra, over to you.
I'm very happy to be here tonight, Mr. Kishore. Thank you for inviting me. I'm enjoying a lot so far the event. I'm very happy to be here. I would like to give you some information about International Dance Council, CID partner of UNESCO, as Mr. Kishore said. And then about some information about how CID supports folk dances through this organization. Firstly, a few about the CID. It's founded in 1973 at headquarters of UNESCO in Paris. It's an official organization for dancing. It's non-profit and non-government organization. It's an umbrella for all types of dance form, regardless of the genders, race, and the level of the dance and all this. It's just an umbrella to bring all the family of dance together. It's a noble philosophy of CID. I would like to point on that. And then, of course, CID has 32,000 members from all over the world, 170 countries. We are talking about the UNESCO. So the numbers are so big. And there are many programs that are CID organizing to support dance and dance professionals. So tonight I want to give you only a few information, introduce a few of the programs, which can be related much about beautiful work you're doing tonight. I'm really moved by watching the videos and listening to your words about this. So first is about Global Dance Directory of UNESCO. So there are more than 400,000 dance professionals listed. I'm sure many of you are already there. I searched some of your names and I find you there. So if you have not done, send your information to be listed and be part of the network UNESCO created for dance professionals. I highly recommend you to send your information to CID, write to us, and make your listing. People can find your data there. They can contact you. So there are many interests about folk dances in all over the world. It's good that you be there and people can reach you easily. The other program I would like to say that we know that how important is teaching and promoting the folk dances all over the world. So if you're running a dance school and if you're teaching dance professionally, you can use the other program of UNESCO, which is very popular, is offering certifications on folk dances to your student by CID dance diplomas. So again, you can find more information on the website and we will be happy to provide more information. The other thing is that CID has a website, Writings. If you have already done your research on folk dances, your work, your books, any articles related to this matter, even if it's not about folk dances, you can send this to CID. It will be uploaded free of charge at the website of Writing. There are millions of visitors at the website, and you can find new readers and audience for your work, which all of us will really need that one. We would like to showcase your work. Another thing is that if you like to show or you present your work, you can attend the congresses of CID, which is happening in different countries. It was not virtually so far, unless last year because of the situation. But next year, we are going to have many congresses, and this congress is only for the members of CID. So the serious dance professionals are only attending. I'm sure it's a good platform for you to showcase your work and let people know about how beautiful work you're doing. We already had many folk dances, festivals made by sections of CID supporting that one. So the other thing is that whenever you're done going to do any event regarding the folk dance or even another dance form, share us the poster and details of your event. It will be uploaded at Panorama website of CID, all free of charge. You don't need to be a member of CID to receive so many support from the CID. This website has millions of visitors, and again, there are people who will get to know more and they can attend your events, which I'm sure it will be very good and very useful for showing your work. So I think this is a very short introduction. I could give it to you about CID. If anybody has questions or we want to know more about it, I will be happy to provide you, or you can write to Secretariat, check the website of CID. There are so many things there, and I'm sure so many good things can be useful for your work. Thank you, Mr. Kishore.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Zahra. And I've already shared the CID website with all the participants and everyone attending today. And we'll share it on our website as well, so that if anybody wants to connect with you, then they will do that. And thanks again for supporting our festival. It's a very important body of UNESCO, International Dance Council. So, yeah, we have been working over the years on various things. So I'll now next invite, and I'm going to invite one person a little early, Irma Cardona. She's from Italy, but at the moment she's traveling to Spain, and she has to do something else. So I'm just bumping her up a little bit. So Irma, if you can hear
Yes.
me, it's over to
Yes, I can
you.
hear you.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Can
Yes,
you hear
all
me?
good, thanks.
I am now in Spain. I want to greet everybody from Spain. It's not my country. I am Italian. And I want to thank you for inviting me to in this beautiful um, festival, also if it is virtual. I want just to say a few words about my experience. I am a teacher and choreographer of contemporary dance. So I am not an expert about folk dance, but traveling the world with my dance, I had many influence in my dance with folk dance. I have been in India, where twice, where I have been so, I don't know, I was wondered, I don't know how to say, when I saw Kathaki dance in the school where I taught and mingled folk dance, Indian folk dance with contemporary dance has been a wonderful experience. Also making a new choreography, mingled steps of Indian cultures with my dance. And this has been the same in Armenia and many other countries where I have been. And I want to say just a thing, that the tarantella, that is Napolitan, a special Napolitan folk dance, influenced me a lot. And I never forget the reality of a tarantella dance, that is dignity, love, hospitality for everybody. And I think that every style, every in dance are the same purpose, to express the soul of the dancer. So I think that this is the main thing to say. Folk, contemporary, if it's done well, means to talk with the body, to talk with their soul. And this is the important thing, because dance is not just like movements, it's an expression of the human beings. So I found that this is the beautiful thing for the young generation to say, because now there is a wrong message. Many young people think that dance is just to show themselves, to be beautiful, to be at the top of their expression of beauty, but it's not like that. Dance is an expression of the soul. And this is our duty as a teacher, as choreographer, to, how do I say, to teach this many other value of the dance. That's what I want to say. And I hope, I cannot be till the end of this interesting Congress because I have other master classes here in Spain, but I hope to join for the next time and to talk a little bit more about my experience and about folk dance and contemporary dance together. I hope that my English is understood, is well understood. I don't know, because I speak well, but I don't know if everybody can understand my English.
No, thanks, Irma. It was perfect. We understood, and you.
Thank you.
You brought in a very interesting point about those kind of fusions that we see between folk and contemporary dance, and lots of folk dance forms are now being influenced by the popular culture, and vice versa.
Exactly.
We have seen that kind of cultural flow from folk to popular and from popular to folk, and these are kind of lots of interesting studies done. In fact, my own PhD was on folk, how dance has changed its kind of a traditional thing because of influence of folk, popular culture. So we'll continue this
Also,
discussion. Yeah.
the discussion and more in the deep, and also because I think that the folk music is a very interesting thing to use for contemporary movements. It's a thing that can get along together during the choreographic process.
Yeah, it's true. And that's the thing. Till the time it is done in an understood way and not in a kind of something just to showcase or just to create as a kind of a spectacle. And that's where we have to create a difference about why we have to understand folklore in terms of keeping the traditions alive rather than using it for rampant commercialism. And there's lots of talk, and we'll keep doing this in the next 3 weekends when we continue our discussion. So I'll now invite our next guest for today, and he's waiting, I think it's midnight in USA, Mr. Eddie Madrill, a dancer, a singer, teacher, playwright, and a filmmaker. He has tremendous, he has done tremendous things, and I have just been amazed to see the kind of work that he does. And it's a pleasure to have him here today to share some words, and he will be there next weekend talking to us about his culture in-depthly. So Eddie, over to you.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Leo Sanchanyovo and Chokwe Tesia. So I am from the Pascua Yaqui people. The Yaqui people are from the Sonora Desert region of North America. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this, and everybody who's here. There's so much beauty and strength and power in what we do. I think everybody here, whether you're a performer or a supporter of the performance of cultural dance, for me, dance is that expression of the soul, as we've heard, but it's also the storytelling. And I think with your PhD and with other people's research, we find that the conflict or the opposition or the marriage of these two things called traditional and contemporary or modern, sometimes we have this idea that they're two separate things, but for us as Native American people, a lot of times people see the authentic American Indian in the images of the late 1800s in the photographs or in the films. And so we're stuck with that idea as Americans, I'll just say for us here in America, that's the true authentic American Indian is the one that looks like those images. However, just like any culture, and what I think we're all talking about is a culture isn't static. We still have to reflect the things that we experience as people, as villages, as tribes, as nations. Just like there's stories about things that took place historically, we are now in a history that years from now, decades from now, centuries from now, we will be doing dances with masks on to represent that time back in 2020. So that story that continues on is what's told through the dance. So our dances not just represent the movement of our environment, but also the stories of overcoming great adversities, of the minutiae, the little moments in time that take place in our storytelling of the day by day. But it goes on so that our stories, it's the beauty of the expression. And again, sometimes the dance is very, very, I heard somebody talking about location and space. For many of our tribal dances, they're only done for ceremony. They're not done for performance. They're not done in the public. And sometimes they're very tribal specific. So even for my tribe, I wouldn't be invited to somebody else's tribal ceremonial dance because they're ceremonial. So I would say, I might be taking a chance here at this number, but maybe 90% of our dances you will never see because they're very, ceremonial. So I'm very happy to be here to share a little bit of the beauty of American Indian people, to the little that I can. And thank you. And I'm looking forward to learning so much more from everybody else here.
Thanks, Eddie, so much. And we look forward to hearing more about you and your cultural performance and your practice on 4th of December. So on that note, I'm going to invite our next guest, and it's Alla Makieva from Russia. She's the director of this interesting dance ensemble called Zorenka. So Alla.
Hello. I'm very glad to see all of you, and I welcome all the participants and the organizers of the festival. I'm representing the Russian dancing group Zorenka. I would like to say some words how it is great for us to be a part of this first virtual festival. It's a cultural holiday as it was in Ghana Festival. Our group was a part of that festival some years ago, and it was amazing. At the festival, JANAPADA also unites many talented people and gives us the opportunity to communicate under the restrictions between countries. And now we can communicate virtually, and it's great. We can share and network with cultural experts and groups from across the world. We can discuss how we can save and promote the folklore cultures, and I hope we will meet personally someday. Our group is very glad to be a part of this first virtual folklore festival. It is a good opportunity for us to get to know other groups and other people. It's very important that festival gets people closer to each other from different countries. And it is great that we will get new acquaintances and our national cultures will become closer too. I would like to thank the organizers of the festival. Thank you, Dr. Vikrant and Dr. Shubha for the invitation. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Ella. And we would be hearing you on 11th of December when we meet next, where our focus will be on Europe on 11th of December. So Ella will be joining us with more information about her group and her performances. So our next guest is now Ms. Paola Balbi. She's the Artistic Director of the International Storytelling Festivals of Rome, Italy. Paola, over to you.
Good morning and good evening, everyone, and greetings from Rome. Thanks to Vikrant for inviting me. I always feel at home wherever there is a group of people who are interested in traditions. So I am a storyteller, a professional storyteller. So it means that I make my living out of telling stories around the world. Stories are my bread and butter in every sense, for my soul and for my family as well. So I will share with you what being a professional storyteller means in the contemporary world. And I am an artistic director as well as a performer, as Vikrant mentioned before. So I organize and run the International Storytelling Festival in Rome, as well as the International Storytelling Festival of Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates. So I live in between cultures and between countries and continents. And I think this is what it means to be a storyteller. It means to dig in your roots, to be able to go on the roads of the world and meet and understand other people and other cultures. In the storytelling world, we have a saying, if you know somebody's story, you cannot but help to love him or her. And I think this is true for international and intercultural exchange as well. Sometimes prejudice is born because we do not know each other's stories. And I think that to know each other's stories is sometimes more important than to know each other's history. Because there is nothing we can do about our history, but there is a lot we can do with our stories to be together. So beside all these roles, I am also now the new appointed expert for research and professional training in the field of performance storytelling for the Federation of European Storytelling, called FEST. FEST is the umbrella network of all professional storytelling organizations in Europe. And in my talk on the 11th, I will share with you how can people become professional storytellers and make a living out of it in this century. Thank you.
Thanks, Paola. And I really look forward to hearing this particular, talk of yours on storytelling, because lots of times people associate storytellers with just, being amateur or doing, side gig about telling stories. So getting into professional storytelling is something going to be very interesting. And
you are on our panel on 11th of December, and I'll be sharing more details about it with all the participants soon. So thank you so much for joining us. And my next guest now is Ms. Nicole McClam, and she is the assistant professor at Queensborough Community College, and she's also the founding member of B3W Performance, and she's also from USA. Nicole.
Thank you. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Vikrant, again for inviting me. And thank you to the conference organizers for your labor in putting this international gathering together. Before I introduce myself, I want to begin with a land acknowledgement. I am coming to you from the historic and ancestral lands of the Munsee, Lenape, and Canarsie peoples, currently known as Queens, New York, in the United States. I also want to acknowledge the legacy of slavery and my enslaved ancestors whose labor was exploited for generations to help establish the United States. The twin harmful practices of colonialism and white supremacy have brought the erasure of both the first American and African identities via racist laws that segregated all peoples. And these practices have and continue to impact American culture and institutions at every level. Thank you so much, everyone, for witnessing my acknowledgement process. To introduce myself, my name is Nicole McClam. I use she, her pronouns. I am an assistant professor in dance at Queensborough Community College and a certified movement analyst trained in the Laban Bartenieff movement studies. I am a middle-aged African-American woman with dark brown skin, shoulder-length hair in twists. I'm wearing a black shirt sitting in front of my window, and it is dark outside because it's 4 a.m. I am a performing artist, a choreographer, and a budding researcher. My movement training is primarily in ballet and modern. I've received training in jazz dance, but that training highlighted Eurocentric aesthetics, such as the vertical organization of the body, line and form, and synchronization with the ensemble. Well after college, I learned about Africanist aesthetics and of African Americans' contributions to jazz dance, as well as modern dance, which complicated my ideas about dance, race, and even history. And these experiences influenced my research focus on the other, using quotes, or those outside the dominant culture. In my choreography, the Africanist aesthetics in jazz and vernacular dance forms help me tell those others' stories which matter. On a personal note, as a Black dancer trained in, quote, white, end quote, dance forms, acknowledging the Africanist influences in my movement history allows me to complicate old claims about Blackness and dance and recognize the power structures that reign over my body, which demand that I become an active agent in constructing my identity, which is what dance often is for me. Circling back to my land acknowledgement, research, archival, and performance practices for me is a way to honor the historical links between the individual and their cultural and artistic practices and aesthetics. And so I will end with that. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to learning from everyone over the next few weeks.
Thanks so much, Nicole. That was very powerful. And I look forward to hearing from you on 4th of December. You will be joining us in the panel on 4th of December. Okay, over to the next person. And we've got 3 more people sharing their thoughts. So next we have Dr. Adele Bollard. He's the founder of Modern Tattoo, the stick dance, and which you would have seen a small glimpse of stick dance in the first video on the intangible cultural heritage. So, and he's from Egypt. So I invite Dr. Adele Bollard now.
Thank you, Vikrant. Thank you to all of you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. What could I say? I feel I don't feel part of the dancing world here, right? I will start from what happened yesterday in Egypt, in Luxor, at the occasion of the big event which happened there, with the event about the avenue of the Sphinxes at Karnak and the Luxor temple. So this brings us back to 4,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago in Egypt. So Luxor and Karnak is the largest open-air museum there. During this opening, the Egyptian put in the front line women for songs and dancing. Songs and dancing from the old Egyptian, the pharaonic Egyptian civilization, which, except during this event, is no more practiced today in Egypt. Okay, so by doing so, Egypt is reconnecting to its roots, bringing back this civilization and putting in the front line women, which as you know, in the Muslim world is more in the second or third level of visibility, of expression and status. So this is a very serious and big event which took place in Egypt yesterday. And from the ancient Egypt civilization, the only one which is still practiced today is tahtib, which is the stick game, or the Egyptian battle staff, call it whatever you call it. And this is the only ancient Egypt still practiced today. All others almost disappeared. So is it a folklore today? Is it a folklore, not a folklore? Is it a dance, not a dance? Originally, it was a warrior discipline, which progressively became a rural practice with drum work. Drum work with the rhythm give an appearance of dance, but in fact, how it takes place? It takes place with a fight between two people holding sticks, holding this stick, which is 1.30 meter long stick, okay, of rattan wood, okay, and people playing drum work with the derbuka, right? The drum work is used to support what we call the anchoring steps, which is a preliminary, constitutive to the gathering, okay? Then the drum work is used during the preliminary for the fight, which is constitutive to a positive, good mindset during the fight. When I say good and positive mindset, it means engagement and respect. So you have this appearance of dance with anchoring steps for the constitution of the gathering, then during the fight at the beginning as a preliminary, and also in the third stage during the real fight, the free fight with sticks, to monitor and to link the players with the audience. So today, this art is in danger because of the shrinking and vanishing of the rural societies in Egypt, in Upper Egypt. It has been filed at UNESCO under the name of Tahtib stick game in 2016. And now the ambition is to bring it to the Olympic Games, to not only to secure, it is mainly to secure its safeguard, but also by securing the safeguard is going through the world, and all citizens, men and women, because in Egypt it was forbidden for women, and I opened the door for women. It was some years ago, and now by spreading it in the world for men and women, we are going to encourage as well Egypt to get back to its roots and to safeguard these 5,000 years old art. That's what I wanted to share with you today, Vikrant. Thank you very much again for this splendid organization of this event.
Great, Adele, and we are going to have you in one of the particular panels. I think you will be joining us on 11th as well. So we'll look forward to hear more from you about the stick dance. And I've had the opportunity to cover, make a short film on your stick dance when I was in Ghana Festival. So it was very interesting to see and keep watching you in your huge endeavor of getting stick dance recognized across the world. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, so, I'm going to again request Mr. Venugopal from ICCR, if you can hear us and if you're around, then please share a few words. I can see you that you're there, but Shubha, Is he around or not?
Yes, he's here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. This is Venugopal, the Senior Regional Director, Indian Council for Cultural Relations and FX Wing of the Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, based in Bangalore. It is indeed a pleasure to be part of this Janapada organized by MAHE and Deakin University. And of course, I'm sorry, extremely sorry because I couldn't join in the beginning. I was there, but for technical reasons, I couldn't be there in the beginning. But it was quite interesting to listen to the talks from all the experts. And I look forward for the next 3 sessions, which will be next month and so on. And I thank the whole team and congratulate the whole team for this wonderful effort put this international virtual folklore festival. Thank you, Mr. Vikrant Kishore.
Thank you, Dr. Venugopal sir, for your support, and we look forward to this kind of continued collaboration with ICCR. And ICCR is a very, the work that ICCR does in India has been fantastic. And at one point of time, I was an empaneled dancer with ICCR representing Festival of Indias. Now I'm an Australian, so I'm no more with ICCR, but I had the pleasure of representing India in various festivals across the world, along with my
happy to know that, sir. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So we have got 2 more speakers today. So I'll invite now Juan Luis, the artistic director and teacher of the dance group, Gero Axelar from Basque Country. Juan, over to you.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good night. From the Basque Country here. Here it's raining. My English is not very good, and I am going to speak in Basque, and Anne Rincon will do the translations, okay? Esan dudan bezala, Euskal Herriko naiz, Pirinoen mendebaldean dagoen nazio batekoa, herrialde txikia gara, baina oso aberatsa kulturalki. Gure hizkuntza euskara da. Europako hizkuntzarik zaharrena, indoeuropear aurreko hizkuntza bat da, eta bere jatorria ezezaguna da. Gure folklorea ere oso zaharra eta aberatsa da, dantzan zein musikan. Gure folklore tradizionaletik, musikak eta dantzak eragin handia izan duten hainbat modalitateetan. Euskal dantza batzuk, dantzatzen duten ikustean entzuten den musika mota 8 termikoa da. Eta ez da oso ohia musikan 19. mendearen amaiera arte. Orduan hasi baitzen euskal konpositore batzuk 5-8 konpasarekin idazten.
As I said, I'm from the Basque Country, a nation west of the Pyrenees. We are a small country, but very rich culturally. Our language is Euskera, the oldest language in Europe. It is a pre-Indo-European language, and its origin is unknown. Our folklore is also very old and rich in both dance and music. From our traditional folklore, both music and dance have a lot of influence in different forms. The type of music you hear when you see some Basque dances belong to the term zortziko, not very common in music until the end of the 19th century, when some Basque composers started to write in 5/8 time.
Dantzari dagokionez, 1988ko Alicia Alonsorekin, Kubako baleteko sortzailea, dantzatzeko privilegioa izan nuen. Kuban egin genuen bira batean, dantza tradizionalak, dantza akademikoen izan zuen eragina erakutsi nahi zuen Alicia Alonsok. Bere elkarrizketa dantzarekin idatzi zuen balet eskola batek herrialde bateko kultura nazionalean eta herri horrek dantzatzen bidez adieraziko duen talentu bereziaren du oinarria.
As far as dance is concerned, in 1988, I had the privilege of dancing with Alicia Alonso, founder of the Cuban Ballet, on a tour of Cuba. She wanted to show the strength of traditional dance and its influence on academic dance. Alicia Alonso wrote the following thing, in dialogues or with dance. A ballet school has its basis in the national culture of a country and the peculiar talent of the people to express itself through dance.
Luz amalaugarrenak erregaldean, komedi ballet generoak, dantzaz gain, beste arte batzuk barne, 1670 garrenean izan zuen gailurra. 1991 inauguratu berria zuen Academia Nationale de la Danse, 25 euskal dantzariek izan zituen ludik, burges aitoren semea aurkeztu zuenean. Emakumerik ez, garai hartan ezin baitzuten dantzatu. Horregatik uste dugu euskal dantzariek eragina izan zutela eta ballet klasikoaren teknika sortzen lagundu zutela.
During the most brilliant period of French classicism, in the reign of Louis XIV, the comedy ballet genre, including other arts besides dance, had its culmination in 1670 with the presentation of the gentlemanly bourgeoisie, where Lully had Basque dancers who were students at the recently inaugurated Académie Nationale de la Danse in 1661, whose archives confirmed that one of the ballet group was made up of 25 Basque men. None of them were women, as they were not allowed to perform at that time. It is because of this fact that Basque dancers are believed to have influenced and contributed to the creation of the classical ballet technique.
Thank you all very much. It's a great pleasure to be here. And thank you, Anne.
Thank you.
That's all.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Juan. Your presence is really, we really appreciate that you could make it. We went back and forth because of the timing issues, but I'm glad that you were able to make it today. And thanks for sharing a bit about your culture. And we hope to have you in one of the panels, or at least show some of your dance forms that we can share with other audiences as well. All right, so our next speaker is Raissa Sofía Torrico Valverde, and she's the International Relations Manager of FIDIC Bolivia. But Raissa has also been a collaborator with us. So apart from Deakin and MAHE collaboration, one of the person who came to support us with this festival and help us as a coordinator was Raissa. So Raissa, over to you.
Thanks, dear Vikrant. Do you hear me?
All good.
Great. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. A big and warm hug from La Paz, Bolivia to all the panelists and audience. So, well, we are almost at the end. So I'm really glad to be here today sharing with you a few words on the importance of this kind of events, an international festival that reunites many cultures, talented professionals, but also longtime friends from all over the world. So thank you all for being part of this magnificent event that no matter wherever we are now, thanks to technology, is letting us to share our culture, passion, and the opportunity to learn from each other. So since a very young age, I had the chance to work and participate in different international festivals in different countries as part of organizing committees, as an artist, as a spectator, and I also had the opportunity to work as a volunteer guide for different festivals in Bolivia, but also in France, for example, for renowned international folklore festivals such as the GANAT Festival, Les Cultures du Monde, which is organized by Marie-Agnès Jacques, here present, and our dear friends from the Association Nationale Culture du Monde. And it is thanks to all those experiences that I have learned how important it is to work for our living traditions and also to promote them. So many words can be used to explain the different purposes of organizing an international folklore festival. For example, to share, reunite, link, teach, learn, spread, communicate, exchange, discover, defend, connect, promote, revalue, preserve, erase borders, create bonds, bring together, well, and many others, but I would like to sum up all of those in just one word, which would be to integrate. So here in La Paz, in our International Folklore Dance Festival called La Danza Integradora de Culturas, our name aims to literally show that thanks to dance, different countries, cultures, and folklores can integrate. So therefore, our main aim is to create a space where we can spread and strengthen cultural ties with other countries and contribute not only to local tourism, but also to be able to show the world from home and to show the wealth and the diversity of our culture thanks to an event that brings together professionals of tradition and folklore. So when we see, for example, how artists and festival goers can communicate and exchange thanks to a universal language that we can call folklore, which is a way of life and which mixed with artistic expressions and with our passion for different kinds of art, brings us all together and integrates us and makes us all of us a single force and the unity of hope and of friendship that has neither territorial borders or limits in time. It's something just priceless to see, and I think that that is what we are living today in this first virtual encounter. So this kind of festivals help to continue with what we can call also a duty, the duty to promote mutual respect and to revalue, safeguard and disseminate our world's cultural richness and diversity, and also raise awareness about cultural identity on an international scale. But also these festivals, well, I think that they are meant to thrill. And as we can see, everybody here is just thrilled to be together and gathered, even if it's through a screen. So it's something really great. So the JANAPADA International Folklore Festival is one more attempt to continue with this call to create awareness and to spread our knowledge about intangible cultural heritage, but also to integrate us all wherever we are. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Raissa. And there's a question about your website. So in case if you can share your website details on the chat box, then that will be good. And now, because we are just nearing end and there are few audiences as well, and any panelist who has any question on the Tiger dance, firstly, and then any kind of general question directed to any of the panelists, feel free to put it on the chat box or in the Q&A box here, and we'll take those questions just after the vote of thanks. So thanks, Raissa, and we'll go to Shreeraj Gudi, who is again another our collaborators, one of the festival curator. Shreeraj Gudi, over to you.
It gives me, okay, before I start my vote of thanks, I request, if there are any questions or any further points, the panelists, both for panelists as well as attendees, I request them to place it here so that you can take it up for the discussion.
Maybe as they type it out, you could just propose the vote of thanks and then the questions can be answered after that.
It gives me immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this international collaboration between Manipal Academy of Higher Education and Deakin University, Australia. It's a very unique event, the MAHE Deakin JANAPADA. And I would like to thank, first of all, the leadership of both universities, MAHE as well as Deakin, for allowing and encouraging us to create such a unique platform and to take the local grassroots art forms to a global level. I would like to thank the senior Indian Foreign Service officer, Sri Girish Singh, who is also serving as the Deputy Consul General of India at Melbourne, for his encouraging words. And also I thank the our council in Melbourne for being part of this event. I would like to place my sincere thanks to Dr. H.S. Balal, Pro-Chancellor, Manipal Academy of Higher Education, for addressing the event and also for encouraging the team JANAPADA since its beginning. I also would like to thank Dr. Venugopal, Director, ICCR Bengaluru, for agreeing to be part of this initiative and also encouraging us with his address today. I also place my thanks to and appreciate Professor Sean Redmond of Asian Media and Cultural Network, Deakin, for his presence and addressing the event. I would like to sincerely thank Dr. Padmarani, Director, Manipal Institute of Communication, without whose support this initiation wouldn't have been possible, for being the backbone of this project and encouraging us throughout. Thank you, ma'am, for your support. I also thank Melinda Gay Kennedy for placing the encourage for welcome to the country. I thank Robin Le Blanc for the video and the performance. I also would like to thank Dr. Kiran Acharya, Mr. Liaquat, Shubha Pujari for presenting today's focus, the Tiger Dance. I also thank our international panelists, Bonnie Ing, Nick Leonard, Mary Agnes, Zara Bhaktiari of UNESCO, Ima Cardiono, Edil Madril, Ala Makira, Bolala Balabi, Nicolo Macklin, Adele Boldran, Joan Lewis, and Raissa for their presence and addressing the event. And I would like to thank all of you for continuing support in creating this platform. Hope it will take us to the very long in coming days. I also sincerely thank my two curators today, Dr Vikrant Kishore and Dr. Shubha, for allowing me to be part of your team and allowing me also to learn many more new things through this platform. I thank both of you for giving us the leadership at this occasion. I also would like to thank the panelists who joined today's session, and also all the attendees, and also my social media team who is here in creating this social media, putting it up onto the social media and to different platforms. I also would like to place my sincere thanks to the entire technical team of Manipal Institute of Communication who supported us from day one in creating different posters, videos, and other technical supports for this successful event. I would like to thank all of you for being part, and a place that in coming another 3 weeks, you will take this session to the new heights. Thank you one and all. Namaste.
Great. Thanks, Shreeraj. And I don't see any questions coming in today. Probably we'll reserve those questions for the main sessions happening, and I won't, keep people waiting because we have already crossed our 2 hours set duration. So thank you all once again, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. May I request all of you to come on to, I think Dr. Kishore can take a screenshot of this.
Yeah, I'll just take a screenshot, yes.
Yeah, group photo. And all of you, I request all of you to sit on the camera.
One more. Let me just. And one final, sorry. All done. And we can take a break, and I'm going to end it for you all now and see you soon. I'll be in touch via email.